Okay, this is Jeff Luzatter back here at the Indiana High School Baseball Coaches Association Red Carpet Show at Keystone at the Crossing in Indianapolis. And our next inductee, the 192nd, is Bob Schellinger. Bob, congratulations on your induction. You graduated from South Bend High School, and your wife, Lori, you've been married 41 years, a daughter, Tricia, and also had sons Rob, Mark, Kevin, and Danny. We talked off camera a little bit about your career. Started out as a coach at South Central, 1977, and then or as assistant coach, and then became head coach from 78 to 93, and then went on to LaPorte from 95 to 2003. But the main thing I asked you about was you kind of went across the fence and became an umpire. Just can you talk a little bit about being a coach of a high school team, how it came about, saying, hey, I want to be like that guy?
Well, you know, I umpired a long time before I started coaching. I started umpiring when I was like 16, 17 years old, and I did it for all through college, all through at the end of my high school career, college, and then on through while I was coaching. But probably made me hurt me in coaching a little bit, because being an umpire, you knew when mistakes were being made, and you knew when things weren't right, and that got me in a little trouble every now and then, questioning umpires because I thought they were wrong. But like it is all the time. But it worked out well for me. I was able to umpire on weekends. I was able to umpire in the summer. Back in the 70s, there was a lot of baseball in the summer with the high schools. And it's not so much now anymore because it's more travel ball, and high schools don't have programs. But back in those days, there was a lot of high school baseball in the summer. So I was fortunate I got involved in all of that, and I was still able to coach and do both of them at the same time. And then when I got out of baseball in 2003, I obviously dove in it a lot more during the regular season.
Now, with all the accolades here of doing the state finals, regionals, and all that stuff, how about the colleges? Did they knock on the door too and say, hey, we're doing a pretty good job, how about helping us out?
Well, I did work a little bit of college ball in the fall of '94, but then when I got back into high school baseball, it wasn't a viable thing for me. And the thing about college baseball, if you're going to get into that, you had to be able to work during the day. Well, I was a teacher. I couldn't take off at noon and go work college doubleheaders or whatever. And I had little kids back then and traveling away for all the weekend. It was just it's just something that didn't fit into my schedule, and I was very happy doing the high school game.
Now, you went on to be an assistant for Coach Schreiber at LaPorte. What was that like after being a head coach? Obviously he didn't embarrass you as far as being a head coach, but Coach Schreiber was...
and Pat can tell you too, working for Coach Schreiber, he made you feel comfortable. I mean, he gave you responsibility, and you hung out a lot together, did a lot of things together. And when I came on board, we sat down and talked. At the time, I was hired to be the head football coach at LaPorte. And he told me right now, he said, Dave, if you got to do football stuff, you do football stuff. He said, nobody ever fired an assistant baseball coach. So he was really good with me. I didn't have a whole lot of off-season stuff, and obviously in the fall he let me do it. And he was a football guy. He's in the Slicer Football Hall of Fame. He was a coach for, I think, 18 years, a defensive back coach. He played football in college. So he understood that, and he was very understanding about being in the football program. But during baseball season, he wanted you there, and that was the number one priority. So he gave me a lot of latitude in the off season, but working with him and on the high school level was just, it's just a lot of fun. I mean, everywhere you went, he's going to hold court wherever he goes. And I don't care if it's in a McDonald's, he's going to hold court. And it was just fun traveling with him and meeting people and being a part of the LaPorte High School baseball program, because it was the top program in the state.
Right. Now, it mentions in here one of your most memorable moments, coaching your son Mark. I'm sure you talked to a lot of other coaches and they coached their son. Quite an experience, huh?
Well, it is quite an experience, and I was fortunate in football. I coached all four of my sons in football, and then only 3 of them played baseball, so I got to coach them in baseball. But the thing that made Mark special, and Mark played on the baseball team in 2000, and after we won the state championship in 2000, so I got to coach Mark in a state championship game, which made that pretty special.
Now, as far as your umpiring, favorite places to umpire, How about some coaches that no, I don't want to put you on the spot, but
Well, like I'm going to say tonight, I'll take one line out. I said, 99% of the coaches that I've met during umpire are great guys. Now, I don't know how many people want to think if they're in that 1%, but they're mostly great people.
and what's this honor mean to you?
Well, it means a great deal. I mean, it's you don't, when you start coaching, start umpiring, this never comes to mind. I mean, you don't do it to get into the Hall of Fame. It doesn't count. I've come to this convention many, many times as a coach. I've sat through the Hall of Fame speeches, and never once did it ever enter my mind that someday I might be doing that. So it came as a surprise, kind of, and people were talking about it, but it's a great honor. And to go in with the class that I'm going into, holy smokes, I feel like I need to stand back in the shadows a little bit, but it's just, I've been very lucky to be able to coach and to be able to umpire and pull all those together. I'm retiring from teaching this year after 43 years, so I've had a great career, and really can tie it together with the IHSA. I've been involved with the IHSA baseball for 52 years.
Last question here, and again, this is involved with umpiring. I'm sure you've got hit a few times. Anything stand out?
Well, yeah, I've been hit. Now, you don't like to get hit at all,
Yeah.
but you get hit, you get that one in the mask, and it hurts. You watch Major League Baseball, they get it, and some have to leave the games, and they talk about umpires and concussions, and I always like to see a big catcher. When I go to a game and it's got a little freshman kid catching, there's a little skinny kid, it's a little worrisome. Of course, when I started out, we used the big balloons, so you could hide pretty well behind those. And now with the underneath protector, it's a little more tough, and you kind of wiggle your way around to make sure you can stay behind the catcher.
Well, congratulations, Bob. We look forward to your speech tonight and appreciate you participating here in our Red Carpet Show.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. We'll be right back with our next inductee.